Yay! Thank you for joining us for this August episode of Grown As Women. Of course, you're going to see me and my very best friends talking about real conversation, grown as women conversations. This particular episode, we're talking about what do we owe people? What do we owe people in relationships? What do we owe people in sexual, intimate relationships? What do we owe people in friendships? What do we owe people in general? And what do we owe ourselves? And this is particularly important, especially as women, because we have been socialized to think that we owe people things, right? We've been socialized to think that our bodies belong to somebody else, our energy belongs to somebody else, our time belongs to somebody else, even our wardrobes belong to somebody else. Shout out to Kiki, my Virgo sister, who initiated this conversation for us in this particular episode too. So listen in, watch in, give us your feedback, comment, give us all the things, and make sure that you ask these questions to yourself and that you also go back to your friends, your grown-ass women, your grown-ass homeboys, and talk about what do we owe people. So listen in, watch in, and have some fun with us. All right. It is August for Grown As Women, and we are at the end of season 2. Oh my God, we only have a couple more recordings. Are y'all sad? We sad, but we got some things for you, okay? So here we are in August, me, Dr. Plummer, and my very best friend.
Hey, y'all.
And listen, if y'all can't see already, we are in this all white because Black women look good in white. Yeah. Plus, we were at the beaches, and we was getting a little browner. No?
Love it.
No?
Love it. Mm-hmm.
That was dry. Y'all need to go back out on the beaches. Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's do our introductions of our beautiful ladies. We'll start with Jonai.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonai Carr.
Woo!
Dr. Ayana Malone.
Yes.
I'll take a drink to that.
Take a drink. We'll all take a drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
My drink was slow, but Deana Kennedy.
Come on.
Dublé divorcee here.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a whole name, Nikki.
I like the Dublé divorcee.
I do
I
too.
like it. I own my shit.
And if you guys
Sorry,
can't
don't
tell,
mean
we
to-
are drinking from some large champagne flutes today,
House
primarily because we are celebrating a lot. So we have our Dr. Malone,
Yes.
and she missed the last recording, so we got to be extra celebratory today.
Yes.
So clink, 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 clink.
Clink.
We are glad to have you back, Dr.
Thank you.
Malone.
I'm happy to be back. Happy to be back with my girl.
Yes.
And in terms of education, we have our Jonai, who is back in school. Get that joint.
Yes, congratulations.
Because that's what you're going to be doing every night when you're writing them papers. You're gonna be writing them
Absolutely.
papers.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't already know, Dee has her own company, Kennedy Dean Coaching. And she is doing all the things with her business, right? So check out her website and make sure you put some money in her new business account. You know what I'm saying?
Cheers to that.
Coins.
And then we have our expert here, Nikki, who just finished her program at George Mason.
Yep, George Mason.
Doing her thing. And we are celebrating the fact that she was just on a panel and invited back again and again and again because the girl be speaking and giving us the wisdom.
Clink, clink, bring, 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 bring.
Let's do it, y'all. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of things, right? I want to talk about Keke Palmer, if you guys are okay with that a little bit, right? Like what happened with Keke and her guy and the Usher concert. And Usher, I mean, does he age?
He does not.
What is his skincare product, right?
Okay.
I don't even find him attractive, but there's something about it.
Yeah.
There's something about that Usher.
Listen, those roller skates.
It's some hip.
Oh,
it's the hip. Yes, some hips,
I don't know
baby.
what it is. He's got it. He's got it.
Or is it that residency money?
It's something.
It's
You
something.
know who else doesn't age? Beyonce. I saw a picture of her recently. I was like, who is her esthetician? Like, what is going on there?
Barbie.
Right.
Michelle.
She got more money than,
got the
right.
Barbie
She
vibe.
got the money.
Okay.
She got
Well,
everything.
that-
One more
taken two
though.
ways.
What about Pharrell?
No, he really doesn't
Pharrell?
age.
No.
No, he
Oh,
really
Pharrell.
doesn't
He's a
age,
real
for
live
sure.
vampire.
He's a vampire.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
be drinking
he
that
really
baby
does.
blood.
Okay.
Well, not a really a vampire. Pharrell, if you do want to sponsor us, we are looking for sponsorship.
That part.
Yeah. I've gone to something in the water every year. I support you, Pharrell. You can support us. There we go.
That's sponsor businesses.
So we're talking about Keke. We're talking about, I got a surprise for y'all.
boy.
I got a little surprise for y'all. We are also talking about being adored in relationships, in friendships, in whatever ships we have, right? And all of this is coming together with this idea of, what do we owe people? Do we owe people anything? Does Kiki owe her baby father anything? Do we owe anybody anything in relationships? What does adornment look like and all the things? So, before we get started though, y'all remember a couple episodes ago, y'all was talking about these sex toys. This is called the happy meeting at the joy at the meeting. So y'all pass those down.
meeting.
I think Jonai said that she'd like this.
Oh.
Is this what you said, Jonai?
Okay.
So everybody put.
Who said what?
Open now. Can we
Yeah,
So the
open
rose-
up, open
the
up
ro-
your
oh,
little.
it's a rose.
Look, who has the gift
Joy
love
at the
language?
meeting.
We like gifts.
Oh, I'm gonna open this one up.
I'm a gift. I'm a gift giver.
Okay, this
Yes,
says
this is
it's
my
the
love language.
It's the
for
flower.
sure.
It's the mini massager.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Oh, I didn't even look at the description.
Beautiful
I just
meeting.
saw it.
didn't.
It's a reunion. I don't understand the language.
That means the meeting of the lips, girl.
I was like, what meeting? I'm still trying to figure out.
Oh, my
Meeting the
goodness.
flesh.
Well, it comes in a cute
Oh,
little
wait, look, and it
waterproof
sits on
bag.
it.
That's the charger.
Oh, that's the charger.
You like things to sit on things, don't you, Nikki?
This is cute.
So you have.
You can hook it up in the car.
Oh my God,
Lord,
charge
not in
it.
the
Charge it on the way.
car.
Charge it on her road trip.
you-
You already
USB.
charged a little bit?
I didn't charge it. This is my first time opening them.
Oh, we need to charge it and then
Oh my God.
Does this thing suck?
I was like, how you
I
turn
think
it on?
sucks. Janai, what does it
Oh,
do?
it's not charged. It's not charged.
Oh, man, we should charge it.
Oh,
yes,
but it
Janai,
sits
what does
like
it do, Janai?
Yes.
from
What
the
does it do?
charger.
Oh, no, it's on.
You know, I really
Is it
like
on?
this.
It's on.
Wait, is it
Finger
on?
in it.
What does it do?
That's a good pulse.
It's
Oh, wait, I
something.
want to see. Let me see.
Yeah.
Put your finger in
Put it
there.
all the way in, though.
But what's supposed to go in here? Your clitoris?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mine is too big for this.
Long clitoris. Y'all have just drooping in the
Well,
It don't droop.
It's
try it.
just you can just
I
stuff it
can't
in
with
there.
y'all.
Stuff it in. Then what it, and then this is
Because there's something in
this
it's
is that
moving
show
on
of
the
how people
inside.
end up in the ER. You know
We're
those
gonna make
things,
those
those
It's
sex
something in the
reasons.
water.
Oh my
Stuff.
God.
Hold on, let me feel it again.
Yeah, put your finger. It moves on the inside too.
We'll have to
Okay.
tell y'all
We are
about it
moving-
next episode.
No, too
I don't
much.
think it's gonna get to the inside.
I do like that the bag is waterproof.
Something happened. Oh, it grabbed my finger.
No.
Drip.
I hate her so much, y'all. I hate her
Drippity
so
drop.
much.
It actually grabs it
Oh, it
grabs
grabs
it. It grabs it.
From the back. Oh, wait. No,
Yeah, it grabs it.
Look at Ayana's face.
It grabs it.
Nice.
And they're multiple.
I love
Oh.
Well, I challenge all you ladies to
It
go home and
pulses.
make a good review.
Oh my God.
It's
I
When
wonder
we
if
do,
you're,
when
like-
we get together again, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
talk
we have
about
to talk about it.
without a lot of detail, unless y'all nasty and y'all like the details. We do got a Scorpio amongst our men.
I need y'all to hear what this
And the
thing
artist
is
formerly
doing
known
at
as
this
Prince.
point.
Well, when I use mine, you ain't gonna hear the toy. You gonna hear me, baby. No? Okay.
Lord, I can't
Too
turn
much?
it off.
Okay,
I'm gonna need a
okay.
refill real
Okay, a
fast.
refill. All right, let's get into our topics. I love y'all though. And for everybody who's listening or watching, if you can't be silly like this with your best friends, get some new friends. You hear what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to
Throw
be
them
able to
away.
like explore and have fun and talk about sex and all the things, right? We had some pre-conversation before this
Just like, come
about fleshiness, but we're gonna move past
Oh,
that.
not the flashiness and the disappearing
need
photos.
some disclaimers. for
Let's
that.
get into something semi-serious. I'm sure it's gonna lead to something a bit more serious, but let's talk about Kiki, right? And I adore her. That's my Virgo sister. I think she said she's only like 29 years old. We've been watching Kiki on screen for 20 years.
Like Aquila and the Bee or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah. She
Not
said
Aquila.
she's been doing the thing, and subsequently she's now reaping the benefits. So somebody had said something to her a while ago. I saw an interview, and they were like, Kiki just kind of blew up, and she was like, nah, I've been on the scene for like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I've been putting in that work, and I think for all of us being in our 40s, we've been putting in work in our careers and our lives for 20 plus years, so we get what it means to finally reap the benefits. And as she's at this point where she's like reaping these wonderful benefits, right? She has the baby that she wanted, that body is killing it. Her podcast, all the things that she's doing on TV, on the screens and media. And then she had this issue, right? So she goes and she sees Usher in concert. Usher who don't age. He still look like the Usher from back when I was in college. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, Usher look good. I know he has some health issues. We're not gonna talk about that right now, no. But he, okay, we get
Your rose.
Super random.
You know what?
Super
So,
random.
anyhow, he is in residency, right, in Las Vegas. And Kiki and her homegirls, probably her grown-ass women, her best friends, went to go see him. She looked good, right? She said, this is what my body looked like after having this baby. This is what my grown-ass woman body looks like, right? She showed up. She looked good, right? Outfit was amazing. If y'all ain't see the outfit, go see the outfit. And then, all of a sudden, her baby father has something to say about it, right? He's sitting there talking about, you're a mother, you're not supposed to be dressed like this. He got a whole bunch of backlash from
you are a representation of me.
Well, that was the
Can't forget
second
that
point.
part.
That was
Okay,
the
I was
second
gonna say, we
point.
can't
The
forget
first
that
point
part
was
of
him
it.
just talking about the
Right,
outfit,
the
right? And
outfit.
she's a mother. Which she then spun it, y'all, and made those t-shirts and sweatshirts that
Yeah,
says,
that say,
I am mother,
I'm
right?
mother.
Yeah, so she making money off of this. Smart, Virgo, I told y'all. Anyhow, then he,
No
after
other
the
sign
internet,
can make money. Sorry.
I gave you your celebration. So then the internet said something to him about it. The internet said something to him.
The
The internet said
Damn.
something to him about it. And then he came back and was like, she's a representation of my family. This is what I want for like a wife and a mother and yada, yada, yada. It was classy as hell how she never addressed it directly, right? She had a video of her and her baby, like she's out doing her thing, making moves. I think she was on a couple magazine articles, the cover right after that. But let's talk about what it means, like, when you are dating somebody and they're like trying to squash who you are, right? That's only one angle. The other angle is, what does it actually mean to be like a mother or in charge of life and responsibility? And who gets to dictate what that looks like? Like, if I'm doing a good job, how do you tell me what I'm supposed to wear? Are my kids okay? Is my family good? You know, take it from there.
I don't agree with what he did.
Okay.
But
which part don't you agree with?
I don't agree with the public shaming, right? Of her just one is Vegas, so you know you cut a little different in Vegas. But the public shaming of her, right? But I just want to be devil's advocate for a moment.
Oh God! Right here in the
beginning.
beginning.
Let's no, really. I know. I felt that. I felt it from my fire sign. No, but devil's advocate, right? If you marry, let's say, a preacher.
She didn't marry a preacher though.
That's why I said I don't agree with her.
We don't
I'm
even
talking
know
about
the job.
No, but
The
the topic, generally speaking, not just Kiki. I don't agree with him. I don't think he's in a position where anything that she does, if she wants to walk around with nipple covers, there's nothing in her career or in his that should inhibit her from doing her and living her best life, mother or not. But what about folks that choose to marry someone that is in a position where you are going to be scrutinized? It does impact their career. So no, I don't have issue with Kiki living her best life because her lifestyle and her environment allows for that with no reprimand or impact that's going to cost more than that moment. But there are some positions, if you're the first lady or the first husband or whatever, there might be repercussions to you going out.
I mean, but you add in a context of conservatism that's not even a part of that particular equation, right? Like, we don't even know what he does for a living, right?
That's
Like,
why I said I don't think it's him.
Does he work?
And if we add in the career element to it, because this was just about what he said was just like basically his wife and his mother, his baby's child,
not
right?
his wife,
So,
that
right.
part, right.
So, but when we talk about career, that's a whole other thing, right? But I'm just thinking, how does anybody get to? Okay, go ahead, Ayana. I mean, excuse me, Dr. Malone. Excuse me, Dr. Malone.
Because what irritates me about the situation is you know who you chose.
Yes,
She's
that part.
always been who she is. If you choose someone who's a free spirit, who's fun, who changes up, like I think about Kiki over the years, I think about any one of us, if you know that's who you married, just because she's a wife and a mother, which she's not his wife.
No, she's not his wife. No, they're not.
No, but that's his, I'm using his words, but I'm like, you overstepping, my friend.
Right.
Why do you expect that all of a sudden she's she needs to change who she is to fit who you think she should be now.
Right.
That is not fair.
It's this idea that you add a different, added layer of identity to you, an additional role in your life, and you're supposed to change. Like, is that fair? Like,
I think, first of all,
not first of all, we about to
Don't-
get
don't come for me.
That's right.
First of all, you're calling me your wife,
Right.
and then you're gonna come for me
Right.
in public.
Right.
And I'm probably paying the bills because who is this?
What?
Who
Come
is
on.
he?
Come on.
Right?
You better tell them. You better
I
tell
don't
them.
know, guys.
Oh,
They might have
okay.
something worked out. Everybody doesn't have to work. Whatever.
I'm also pissed about it because I'm like, your baby is eventually gonna read this. Why are you trying to shame me in public?
Yes.
And our son is gonna be able to read this in like 10 years.
And that part, that's a conversation that
he
needs
can't
to be
read till
held
10?
Oh,
in
okay.
private. Even if he felt a way, he can feel a way if he wants to. But that should have been a conversation they had on their own.
Right.
And then maybe if they felt the need to say something publicly or whatever, which they shouldn't, if they had their own conversation, then fine. Because maybe the conversation might have been, well, I was just living my best life, whatever. But I see your point. I can tone it down a little bit. I respect that. They could have had some other kind of conversation. But since they didn't.
But maybe her response wasn't that. Maybe her response could have also been, I'm a celebrity, and look how much attention we're bringing in because of this outfit and how much money I could potentially make. And the fact that I am making a whole nother apparel line because of this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was not just for fun. She was strategic with that, right? She's smart. She has a team. Like, maybe it looked like fun and cool in the beginning, but she spent some money and some business out of that to the point that other podcasts are talking about it.
I
You
think
know what I'm
it's
saying?
her personality more than anything, though.
right.
It's
Yeah.
her personality, and she's making money off of her personality.
Yeah.
She's
But
making money off of who she is naturally. Yeah. And I'm sure she is in the experience of her own glow up. Just like we're watching her and seeing her just change and grow and just get more and more beautiful. She's seeing it too and sitting in it and loving it. And I think, if she has her own realization at some point that maybe this is too much or I'm good, I had fun, because she's 29 or
29.
something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then let her make that decision on her own, or they can talk about it as a unit. I just did not agree with the public. Now on the flip side, they may have talked about that though.
They could have.
Maybe that was intentional.
They could
that
have
just
been.
came to my head just
Yeah,
now. But
and
it
that's
could have
true.
been.
maybe that was
And
intentional.
she said, I'm going anyway. And then he got on the internet because he got mad.
Because if he don't have no salary, he needs to be able to contribute to the family. And I'm not saying that he does it, right? I'm not saying that he does it. Whatever the case may be, I'm just saying, like, he took the wrong approach, in my opinion. But it could have been a family decision that they made. And she looked cute at 29.
She looked cute.
Child, we was
looked
the
great.
things we was wearing in our 20s, baby. Like, she's not even 30 yet. Like, yeah.
I think you were going to say something, Dee.
No, I was gonna say that's the risk or the assumed risk you take when you have any partnership. You don't know who that person is gonna be 10 years from now. And you either have to love it, get to love it, learn to love it, and
Let's
accept
talk about
it.
it.
Right
Because
now.
who they are and who they're going to be and who they're becoming is something you don't know. They don't know. You either make the choice to accept them or you sever the relationship. So, sir, if you go and go.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for the baby.
Right, thanks for the baby.
Right.
Exactly.
But you made a good
it's that
point.
whole Madonna horror complex, right? Where but yes, because you liked me for who I
Wild
was.
and free.
So
Did you
now
know?
he chose her.
And
For
you're talking
whatever
about
reason.
the original
Maybe he thought
Madonna,
he
not
could
the singer
tame her.
Madonna,
Yeah,
right?
the
Maybe he
Yes.
thought he could control
Because,
her.
no, and I'm saying that
Yes, not the
because
singer Madonna.
because
Yeah.
some people think Madonna's name is only her name, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
came from
It came from,
another
right.
person, a persona.
Right.
Yes.
This perception of
Yes.
this like Christ's mother, right? Who is just like pure, there's purity about you. But you also want the other side, what is it, the wife in the streets and the freak in the sheets,
Yes.
like whatever it
Lady in the
is.
You know what it was. I don't know why you
what
pretend
it
like you didn't know
was,
what it
but I'm
was.
just saying, like,
I know what it is.
right. Yeah, you know what it is. And so you liked that part of me, right? Because you
Yes.
chose me and
That's
you
right.
reaped the benefit of all of my fantasticness.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, now that I have this perception of ownership over you.
Right.
You need to tone all that down.
And what makes you own me? Because I had a baby with you,
Oh,
right? And that's the thing, right? Because we used to say
I've
things
heard
like,
that.
"Oh, such and such had a baby for him." Like, did she have a baby for him,
No.
or
It's the
like
I
was
had
it?
you first complex. There
Yeah.
is a sense of ownership. I've heard a lot of men say that they don't care whether it's a current relationship or something like I had you 1st. That's a real thing. It's almost like this pissing contest, same stuff
Yeah.
the dogs do, right? That's their marked territory. I marked it first. And they do that.
matter
But
'cause I
Jonai
left
raised a good point that I kind of made me think of something like maybe they had the conversation before. And then what if you sold something? Like how many times have we been in a relationship not really owning our full selves and sold something? Like, oh, I want to be a mother. I want to be this type of mother. I want to do this, right? And then you become a mother and you're like, yeah, nah, that's not working. I still think it was petty as hell to go on the internet and say something, but that's something we don't know. Although I think in this situation, Kiki has always been wild and free and twerking with no booty, and now she got one, and she looks beautiful. She was beautiful back then, but she definitely got a lot more to work with. She got a grown ass woman body.
She got a grown
Do you
ass
guys
woman
know
body.
Jonah Hill? The actor Jonah
Yes.
Hill. You know, it's a similar situation. Have you heard about him? And it's like an ex-girlfriend.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes, and
I
now his
did see that.
ex-girlfriend is posting screenshots where he was
him.
asking her.
surfs.
Yeah, she's a professional surfer. And so she would post pictures of herself surfing, and her like cheeks would be out because
Surfing with other men, too.
Surfing,
Yeah. That
yeah.
was
And
a
he was
thing.
like, "Stop surfing with other men."
He
You
said
need to-
that?
Yes,
He said
she posted.
he said
"Oh, shit."
it was some real slight. I don't know if this was gaslighting the right term, but not saying stop. It makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
But he
So
posted
I'm not
that?
asking you to stop. No,
she posted the
it.
screenshots
Oh.
that he sent her.
Which goes to the question of our day today. What do we owe people? Does she owe him
Does she owe him
full panties?
Right. Like, take those pictures down.
If you met me pantyless, then that's how it's gonna be.
right,
Pantyless.
Right. Attracted to me.
we met
cheeks
and
out.
we met Kiki
Right.
pantyless.
Right.
And it's a very parallel situation and makes me think about this. What do we owe people? Because you met me with my cheeks out.
Okay.
You cannot be mad if I continue to keep my cheeks out.
Right.
I
You
don't owe
met
you
me
not to
surfing
change.
with other dudes.
I owe myself that.
Why can I not surf with other dudes?
And even if
Are you that
didn't,
insecure?
I get to because I can.
Well, you
Well,
know
but the
that's how I
question
feel.
is,
Yeah.
what do we actually owe
I feel
people?
like we might owe some people a conversation.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
a conversation.
okay.
Okay, a conversation.
And-
So mature.
And
I know.
but really,
maybe a conversation.
but in
I'm
my
like, I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing.
This is mature marry me when really I'm like, oh, you okay? But
I forgot you got married. Boo. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Dr. Malone.
But you know, it's
I
August.
know.
She just celebrated a birthday, so she got that extra energy
Yeah,
right now.
that
You know what I'm
extra- that
saying?
extra energy.
Leo.
41. But I think in that case, maybe she owes him. I hate the word owe. Owes him a conversation.
Before or after, or both?
Depends.
I'm gonna say if she's just being who she is, I'm gonna say after because maybe she didn't think she was doing anything wrong.
Okay.
Because that's who she is and that's who she always is. Unless she's not in the background and she does it for TV.
Of which he knew that he was marrying a TV celebrity. Like,
Yeah.
so that maybe the conversation happens before they even define themselves in a relationship. Like, this is my job. So bringing in the job piece, Nick, this is my job and this is what comes with it. And it can't be stale. It can't always be predictable because that doesn't bring in attention. That doesn't bring in intensity and light. And I need my career to keep flowing, right? Like,
I mean, there's insecurities.
and I'm sure she had a stylist.
But
bring it
hold
real
on.
world.
I want you to keep going with
Yeah.
you're owed the conversation.
Yeah.
I'll
So
capitulate. So you have the conversation.
I need a dictionary.
I did just become a doctor. I'm sorry.
We're going to have a water
Can you
break.
say the word again for the audience.
Capitulate.
Word of the day.
You
okay?
capitulate and have the conversation. You agree.
Okay.
And have and you agree to have the conversation.
I can't wait to use
I
it on the
just wrote a
paper.
dissertation.
Verb.
It's a verb. It means to agree.
Origin?
Yeah, it's to agree. Latin.
Spell it.
Latin. It is Latin of origin.
In honor of Aquila and the
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
In
good
honor of
point,
oh, that's a good
Kiki.
one.
That was a good
In
one.
honor of
point.
Aquila and the bee. But so you had the conversation. You like, I'm going to the Usher concert. Would you like to approve the outfit? Like, what is the outcome of the conversation?
No, wait,
Like,
a conversation doesn't mean that it is initiated with a question. It can be initiated with a statement. Like, hey, this is what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
And he
That
says
in your
no.
feelings.
And he says no. He looks at the
Well,
outfit.
it wasn't a question.
And he,
It wasn't a question, so you don't need to.
but he gave
He
the
responded.
answer.
It wasn't-
His
yes, he
response
responded
was like,
saying, "I'm not
you
comfortable
are
with
not
that."
going to the Usher concert with your booty
You're
out.
not getting your allowance.
Because did you see? Leave that man alone. You don't know. He could be a billionaire. We don't know.
I actually
But-
did some research on him. He's not.
Okay.
But again, he's like, you're not going to that concert with your booty out.
Right.
He must
Then
not
what?
be fleshy.
Then you say, okay, we agree to disagree. I control my body. I mean, okay, I know I'm me, right?
And then he'll get on Twitter and call you out. How does it have a different outcome?
Nigga, I'ma sue you. Like, you are not gonna defend me.
Seriously, I don't
cut
think
off
the
your allowance.
outcome is different. Like, unless your partner is enlightened, the outcome won't be different.
So you're
why
saying
do
don't
I
have a
owe you?
conversation?
The outcome could be
That's because you're a
different.
mysterious Scorpio.
There could be, but there could be some clarity in that conversation. Maybe he'll realize, oh, you don't tell me what to do. So maybe the outcome is that we're not together anymore, or we can't go forward. But the outcome should not have been that you take to social media.
And try to embarrass
We still
me.
live together. We still do have this child, regardless of how you think I look.
Well,
We
yeah.
still have this child. We still have a life together. And after that, now we don't. In my opinion, you can't take to social media, call me out the way you called me out,
and think it's gonna be
and
okay.
think it's okay.
Because
Like,
the
that's a
moment that I
problem.
wear this dress is gonna pass. It's gonna be a couple hours. The way
And it
you
was still a
embarrass
mild
me
dress.
in
It
public.
Wasn't that bad? If my ass
I
looked
thought
like
she
that
looked fine.
in black sheerness,
She looked
I
great.
was like, wear it too,
Amazing.
She looked great.
And she
But
was a
again,
celebrity.
it
To me,
is
it's
back
expected.
to what people think you owe them in a relationship.
So answer the question. What does somebody owe you? What does your man owe you?
Respect. And how you define that depends on the person.
And that is the question
And-
that becomes a
right.
conversation. How does respect become defined? Remember when we were working
Right.
at schools, Yanni, and we were doing the PDs, and all the teachers will be like, kids need to respect us. And we made them break down what respect was, because everybody wasn't using a definition from the dictionary. They had their own filters. They had their own experiences. Respect may mean you use this kind of language with me, or you use this kind of physical stance with me, or you consider me. Like, what does respect mean? That has to be a conversation.
It has to be a conversation. And when I think about what does respect mean, it means I owe you understanding. It does not mean I owe you or you owe me what each other wants.
But Yanni, understanding is also one of those ambiguous kind of words too. Like, what does understanding mean?
It means I understand your point. You want to go out there with your cheeks out. I don't want you to. And
Is that acceptance?
No. And it goes back to what Jonai said. So what does that mean for us? If I can't understand and accept what you want, then maybe we need to part ways.
But what does understanding mean in action? Is it an action? Is it cognitive? What does it mean? Dee was about to say something too.
Disagree. All you owe me is to be your authentic self in the moment. I get to choose whether I agree with it, whether I disagree with
moment.
it. In the moment.
Okay.
In the moment, I might not like the damn outfit. After we get all this money from this clothing deal, I might like the outfit.
Because my thought was, if he was with her, would he have been okay
Yeah,
in the
I get
moment?
Oh,
In the
good
moment.
point.
say that.
Just give me your authentic
go with
self.
him.
Because
in the
maybe,
moment.
because
She
maybe
wanna
it
go
could
with
be,
her girlfriends.
all right, if you're going to continue to dress like that in person, you're going to hang out with your girls and do what you want to do, maybe don't twerk on Usher. Can we settle
Did she
somewhere in the
twerk
middle?
on Usher?
I think Usher was like,
It was face to
Ushering.
face. She wasn't dragging that wagon up on Usher though.
But
it was the
like-
wagon that was out.
I mean, it was entertainment, and that's what entertainers do, right? So, you know, you really shouldn't be offended by that. That's what they do. It was for the people, right? I'm sure it was some moments in there too. But it's like, sorry.
Like I said, Usher's got an it factor.
But maybe the conversation is, well, what does being a wife look like to you? What does a sexy outfit as
Not
a
your
wife or true. But
which is a whole nother thing later in terms of baby mother, wife, whatever.
But we're in a relationship. Let's just say that we're in a relationship, and so we're committed. So now let me ask you, what does that look like for you, boyfriend? You know, what does that look like for you, and how can we meet in the middle? Let's talk about it. Let me hear what you have to say, because maybe I might be cool with that. Maybe I can respect that, but maybe I can't. And if I can't, now what? Now what?
Exactly.
Right.
Now what?
I feel like I'm still struggling. Let's take a step back, because I'm still struggling with the idea of you knew who I was.
Well, yes.
So why would it be a conversation? Like, if I know who you are and you know how I am, why am I upset?
So maybe the baby changed him and not her.
Or maybe it changed her too, because I didn't say it. Nikki said it, but she might have not had a big ass before, right? And so maybe now she's happy with her big ass and she wants to show it out, right? Like maybe and she actually said that in one of her posts, that her baby made her more bold. Her baby made her like show up differently. And that looks a various range of ways.
And that's
maybe,
okay too.
I think I would like to say evolved. Changed sounds like polar, right? Like I think she may have evolved. She may have always wanted to wear an outfit like that, but just didn't have the body. She may have always wanted to wear an outfit like that, but didn't have a confidence. Like, and she had this baby, and that's what happened. Which then goes to the point of when you're in a relationship and you know who you are getting in a relationship with, what happens if the person does evolve outside of what you anticipated that they would evolve to? The other thing we were going to talk about today too was adore, right? Like, should we be adored in relationships? Adored is generally defined as like love and respect, right? So both of them together. Some people just love their partner and they don't respect them, right? And we've seen relationships like, that's funny.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Nikki started.
Yeah, because Nikki don't do with that. Nikki don't do with that.
Do they go together? Do you love somebody if you don't respect them?
Not real bad.
That only if you
Right.
adore
And
them.
that's what I think about adore. The word adore to me means real bad. Like, there is something about you that makes me want you real bad.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I love you.
Because it's
I respect
combination.
You real bad.
Because generally, love,
possession.
Generally love we think about as a feeling. It's an action too, right? Mm-hmm. Where it's cognitive based. But we think about it primarily as an emotion, right? Which is fleeting. We're not always loving someone. But respect tends to be very consistent, right? Like we consistently respect somebody. So now when you talk about adore, you're talking about the feeling and the logic combined, which is intense as fuck, right? And so it's that real bad. So it's not that I love you real bad and I respect you real bad. It's like,
it's both, real
all
bad.
Bitch, I adore you.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I've lived both.
But
right?
adore is not sexy. That word doesn't sound. How do you make adore sound sexy?
Ooh, Prince made adore sound sexy.
What are you Adore is very sexy.
Prince make adore sound
And we think of it in the sense of
Look, Jonai's body change. Yeah.
Let a man start singing that Prince song. Let a woman start singing that Prince song.
I've lived both, right?
Adore
I've lived
you.
the love without the adoration, and then shout out to Love Bae that I adore, right?
Okay.
But the adoring part, I have to adore you to be in the best.
And the adore is the
both.
combination.
It is a love and a respect, because the respect is because love in that strong intensity of like being in love, it can flutter.
So I think the challenge
respect
is
has to be there.
The challenge is that when I've done some research around it, most women want to be loved. Most men want to be respected.
I want to be adored.
So neither person goes into a relationship thinking about, I want to be adored, right?
I do.
And of course I'm with a woman, and so there's all of those things and socialization that comes with that. But what does adore look like for you? And if we circle it back to Kiki, and I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time there, was she actually adored? He could have loved her, but not respected her. or he could have respected her and not loved her.
But can your insecurities outshadow your respect for somebody? Like, how can you have
Every day.
deep-rooted insecurities and still consistently
So maybe you never
show
went
up?
into the relationship with the door. Maybe you only went in with love.
But that doesn't mean that your intention, like you may believe that I love and respect, but if an insecurity is deep-rooted, it doesn't matter how you feel about that person and how much you respect them. So, but is it fair to say I don't respect you because I couldn't manage this insecurity that I haven't dealt with and healed?
I guess what I'm trying to do is break it down in that love is one thing and respect is another thing. And if you combine them, then it creates adornment, right? So if my insecurity was so big that it overcame or that it overshadowed my love, do I still at least respect you, right? Because those
it
so you
overshadowed the respect, which is going to
and so then
internet.
so then it only keeps love, which is temporary because it's a feeling, right? And so in that moment, he may not have loved her or respected her, and there was no adornment in it.
Can I throw something else in
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
What happens when the respect is between you and that person? So me respecting you is disrespect to my being. Perhaps he thought that he was being disrespected and the two conflicted. I'm not saying he didn't respect her, but then when it's you versus me, who do I honor?
Oh.
You honor both of us by talking to me at home.
Fair. That's true. Facts.
But that's a
So
valid
you're saying
point.
that I could respect you and you could disrespect me, and then that puts me in a position of deciding whether I respect me or whether I respect you.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
But, right, because my
But that may not be
argument-
respect, that may be offense, which goes back to a conversation.
Depending on what his values are. We don't know him.
Because we tend to think about respect in a longevity kind of situation. And offense if like it's time oriented,
I want
right?
you to be my wife, and that means your booty should not be close
What
to.
Except your
if
booty
Kiki
look
knew
nice.
this about him? Because there's a factor we're leaving out. It's we all know who she is, but what if she knew this about him ahead of time?
Yeah.
Right. That's the point.
So
that's
she's not phased
Yeah.
because she's like, well, I knew this dude was like, I knew he didn't like stuff like this. I did what I wanted to anyway. But there's a piece where she may have known that that he was like that he held these opinions, these values, and still was like, oh, I'm gonna do me, which kudos to her. But there has to be some sense of, I guess, accountability in who we choose as a partner. I could be that I would doubt that he popped up out of nowhere with these opinions.
You know, in family, marriage and family therapy, when we're doing those kind of sessions, one of the biggest things that tear couples apart is the birth of the first child. Because people, they change based off of that identity and they change based off of how they feel. It's quite possible that she evolved and he evolved, or she evolved and he changed, or whatever the case may be. Who they thought they were changed in the moment that baby was born, right? And so subsequently, maybe he did adore her, and then maybe he was offended, and that led to respect. Dee and I were out on the boat the other day, and she brought up the filling wheel, right? We were out with some of our boating friends, and
that sounded so friendly. We were out with some of our boating friends, on the yacht.
We were at
Remember that day we didn't get a word? We didn't do any work.
We didn't do any work.
Actually,
We were yachting with the
Actually,
boats.
all of you all are assholes in this moment because I told you about the boating date ahead.
You did?
And I told you about the upcoming boating date
I
too.
was at work, you know. I don't know where they were.
Oh, no,
but
we were
I
on
was
the
at
flight.
work.
I was on the flight.
on the dock.
I was on a flight. I was on a flight.
We had high tea on the boat.
and the feeling wheel.
we all
Come
go to
on,
the boat,
Dr.
though.
Plummer.
So-
What were you going to say
I
about
don't
the
even.
wheel?
I don't even know why we're all friends. I don't even know why we're all friends. I don't know
Are
why.
you speaking from your crotch? Why is your mic so low? Can you pick this mic up?
Oh, Lord.
What is happening?
Oh!
This is driving me crazy.
Did it drop down? This is why it's petty.
Drop down
You
and get
are
your
petty.
ear
You
long.
are petty.
Listen, I needed the balance, so I had to balance
so-
that
not
out.
so
And
high,
here we
not so
go.
high.
Your
Yeah,
competency.
there you go. There you go.
and
There you go.
there we
There you
go.
go.
Perfect.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
And don't edit that. That is funny as shit. Okay?
Please go back to the feeling
Don't
wheel.
edit that,
Okay, yeah, let's go back
please.
to the feeling wheel because I have a question for y'all. But go ahead.
And it better be about the feeling wheel.
Not your crotch
Feeling wheel,
crumpets.
feeling wheel. Yes.
So we were talking, oh my God, what was I talking about? About
The
the feeling
feeling
wheel.
wheel.
Feeling wheel.
On the boat.
With your
So
boating
we were on
friends.
the boat and
With your boat.
With your
with our boating
friends.
friends. And Dee had brought up the feeling wheel, how she like journals every morning, and that's like part of her daily routine and ritual. It's her grounding practice. And she keeps her feeling wheel nearby so that she can identify how she felt like days before, the day before, whatever the case may be, and not being stuck on some of the feelings that we are only told about, right? So anger and happiness and sadness and confusion and frustration, because there's so many more feelings, right? And subsequently, I'm bringing that up because I'm thinking maybe this guy didn't know how he actually felt. So he used the wrong word, right? He thought in that second that he felt disrespected, but instead he felt something else. Insecure may be the word that we use, right? So what happens when we don't have a full enough vocabulary, our vocabulary isn't robust to actually say what we're feeling, which then leads to miscommunication. And you remember, I recently talked about and made a post about miscommunication versus misunderstanding, and how if there is miscommunication, especially around our emotional vocabulary, it creates misunderstanding. And then we have this ripple effect that is generally negative. And it's usually because we said something that wasn't truly accurate. I felt like he was impulsive in that moment, right? So he
Yeah.
didn't take the time to think about. Anyway, so going back to adornment and relationships, feeling wheels, all that kind of stuff. How do we really identify how we feel with somebody and how we respect somebody enough to communicate that in a relationship? We don't have to answer that, but my thought.
I want to ask you all a question, because 3 of you, these long-term relationships, married, perhaps on the way to getting married. Dee and I we're exploring, trying to figure out what we're going to do. Right? Mm-hmm. Respect. Isn't it an element of trust to respect someone? So if you truly respect you, and I respect, I respect you, you respect me. If I change, evolve, or whatever, do you not trust me to still hold our relationship sacred, no matter what I'm out there doing in your perception? So when I think about what I want to be adored, is that someone is going to be like, Ayana's so cool, she's so this, she's so that, she's so whatever adjective you want to use.
She's so smart,
that
she's so
sexy,
smart,
she's so
cute,
sexy,
she's so everything. I love her, right?
Or whatever
Yes.
it is, that I know she is not going to do something to hurt me intentionally. Because often we hurt people unintentionally, but he was making it out, it seemed, he was making it out that she was doing something intentionally to hurt him. And she was like, I'm just with my grown-ass women friends having fun at an Usher concert.
I don't think he's that deep to even think.
But that's the thing.
But
you
that's
gotta
the
go
thing.
back and search
But
yourself.
when you think about y'all's relationships and ongoing
Oh,
relationships,
you're not going to put us on Front
oh,
Street.
well, no,
Okay.
no, but
I'm
just generally
kidding.
speaking, like, I'm not, but to me, that's what respect means.
So
I respect you, you respect me.
you define
I may
respect
not
as trust.
understand
But you make
why
a good
you
point.
need to go to the gym every day. I may not understand, like, okay, I'm like, this is dumb. He out there doing something stupid. She out there doing something stupid, depending on whatever you choose. Both people out there doing something stupid. But I respect that you're not going to
so my spirit
do
is burning on this
anything
one.
to ruin our relationship.
And my whole spirit burning.
Well,
Because,
okay.
you make a good
Burning.
point. Because when I was married the second time, I remember a situation around red lipstick and red nails.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We remember
Let the
that.
church say amen.
Because I think we were all bothered by it.
Right. So, but
together.
But
Yeah.
it makes your, it's to your point, because I respected at this time this person. And to me, I enjoyed red lipstick and I enjoyed red nails.
Yeah.
But they viewed it as extremely disrespectful.
Jezebel's the word,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Extremely disrespectful. Jezebel. And I'm like, but if you know that I respect you and this is just something that I enjoy, why is it an issue?
Right.
And I remember, because this was when I had checked out of the marriage and was just trying to have an exit plan. But I had this conversation.
Which is a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation, right? But I remember having this conversation, and it ended with me saying, well, then why not just be friends? Why we can live together for a little while. Why not just be friends? We don't need to be married then. And that was the evolution. But to your point,
that wasn't the evolution.
Meaning like of the conversation.
Okay,
of
sorry.
that particular that particular
The evolution of the transition of
Because I was like,
to your point,
being
I
number one,
respected
the right
him
way.
in that marriage when we were together and when I chose to be in that marriage. So me wearing red polish to Kiki wearing whatever she wore, I'm not disrespect. You know that I respect you. So just let me do what makes me happy because I'm not doing it as a form of disrespect to you. Right?
Yeah.
To your point, right?
I'm not doing this to hurt.
It's not even about you. It's about what
It's
other
them.
people think.
But that situation was probably more of
That's
a
what I thought,
control
too.
thing as well.
Right, and
So
that's when I
He
think
doesn't
it
wanna be
becomes
embarrassed.
He doesn't want to be
toxic.
embarrassed. Yeah.
But that's when I think it becomes
It absolutely
toxic.
is because I was in a similar situation, not married, but I changed my being for what this person wanted me to be. And years later, outside of the relationship, I'm like, I used to talk to people. Like we would be sitting at a bar, and I always say it. I have this, talk to me. I want to talk to you on my forehead. People always talk to me.
That's the coach.
And, I would get to talking and chatting. And he would be like, who's this guy you talking to? I don't know. He sat next to me. He said hello. We evolved
Right.
into a conversation. I don't want this man. He's not even attractive. So I dimmed my light and started not talking to people.
You remember that story you told us that one time about being at a party and you were studying and there were playing and people were playing cards around you and the person you were dating at the time was like, well, you tell the story. It goes back because I want Dee to tell the story, but it goes back to the question of what do you owe people, right? Like, what do you owe the person you're in a relationship with?
I'm gonna go with D. You owe them your authentic
and yourself.
You better-
your authentic self.
You better tell the story
I'm
before
gonna
our
tell the
listeners
story.
start sending us messages
So
like we're not finished
I
with
was
stories.
Sitting, y'all all know I'm aspiring to be like this lovely lady on my side. She's my inspiration right now, Dr. Malone.
Come on, doctor.
I'm officially ABD.
Come on,
my
ABD.
dissertation.
Come on, ABD.
So, a couple years ago, I'm sitting at a party at a table. I sat at the table because I had work to do. I'm sitting there, I'm doing my studying. People started collecting around the table. Again, I talk to me on my forehead. Little guy at the head of the table started making jokes. He's making jokes with Kiki, and I look up a couple times. I Kiki. All the women make their way into the kitchen. I don't notice it because I'm working on my studies. I don't care what these people are doing. Guy that I'm dating says, why don't you go in the kitchen with the women? Well, there's nowhere for my books and my computer to be because I'm trying to get this homework done. Well, the guy is talking to me. He's making the jokes. He's making eye contact. I'm laughing at the jokes, and I'm continuing to study. And he's like, well, go in the kitchen. And he actually escorts me to the basement where I had all the room to do my studies because he did not want me the center of attention in that group. But that's not my personality. But I allowed him to change that and shift that because of the situation, because I loved him, because I trusted him and wanted to honor the relationship. But it wasn't who I was. It wasn't who I was going to be. It wasn't who I was going to evolve into. And
I suspect that women only ask the questions of like, what do I owe somebody? Because as you're telling the story, and I've heard it before, I doubt that men ever think, what do I owe this person? They go into, or even masculine of gender people, they go into relationships like this is just who I am. I'm a provide or I'm a protect or whatever they have identified their being to be. And we are the ones who are constantly molding, right? And one of the things I love about us as grown as women is that we challenge ourselves to be authentic. Like, is that really what you want to do? Right. Is that really what you wanted to say? Is that really how you want to act? Because as grown as women, maybe we're not supposed to keep operating from this sense of I owe this person. I owe this person to not wear red nail polish. I owe this person to study in a basement by myself. Like,
and not be in a conversation with the guys.
Right. Like, what do
just isolate you down in the basement.
No, he wanted me in the kitchen with the women. And y'all know, although I identify with my girl Charlotte, I'm not cooking shit. I order it.
Exactly.
I just laughed a little bit, and the sweat that connected between my belly and my leg came down a little bit.
As a woman in menopause, past menopause, I'm gonna put you on some game later on. I won't do it here.
Like, do I need powder? Did they say that was a problem?
Spray
I felt it drip down a little bit. Like, that's a drip, right? And it ain't the drip.
It's
Never mind.
sprayed up. You gotta
Drip,
hit the T.
drip.
Across the thighs, up the breast. That's what you gotta do.
Oh, I love and hate
This'll
y'all
catch
so
it.
much.
Oh, that's gonna catch the little toy. Gonna catch it.
Might catch it. But don't be like Usher, cleanse after use and change your partner.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God. Cleansing would have helped. Don't do that to Usher. Cleansing would not have helped.
I don't think the
Okay, that's
accusations
valid.
were
That's
allegedly.
That's
We don't
valid.
know.
We love
Allegedly.
you, Usher.
Allegedly.
Dr. Malone, can you fill me up? I came with these people. I don't know where they came
I just want to
from.
say something to that point. Why do we blame the person who contracted the STD? It is not their
Oh,
fault.
let's talk. We getting
That's
into
it.
blame.
That's
Sorry,
all
I
it
had to
is.
throw that out there.
Thank you, babe.
We talking about Usher. It wasn't his
Okay,
fault.
that's fair, right? Because we have to be
He
selective
got it
in our
from
partners.
someone. Maybe he should have been
You know,
selective.
and you're adult.
and
This is for our
protected.
That's a
viewers.
good point, though, D.
You should be getting to have your partners get tested.
It's also like when people
You
had
should- you should,
COVID.
as adults, in
not
adult,
your fault.
well, even as young adults, if you are sexually active, you should get tested. Get tested regularly.
Yes.
Like, give yourself that window when they say between this time it could not show up. Get tested.
You know that
Don't just jump.
the statistics show that the elders are the ones with the most STI
Absolutely.
Yes.
They out there
And
doing
it's
the
because they
most.
know that they're not going to get
TV
pregnant,
show.
right?
Yeah.
And they're living in like these community homes, and they run it through each other. You know what I'm saying? They like, you know, Bob.
Yeah,
Bob was
the
in
youngest and the eldest. Yeah.
But can I touch back on Dee's point, because I believe that.
And they ain't right down below.
Okay, come on, stop for the elders. Come get us. This elderberry show up in these roses. No thank you. But to touch on Dee's point, I don't know how that was related, but I just try to transition. Being your authentic self. That is such a valid point, right? Because having been married twice and then being in a very mature, happy, adoring relationship now.
Shout out to
'cause
Love
it's
Bag,
Come
because that's
on,
what she
Love
gonna
Bag.
Shout out to
say.
Love Bag. No, but when I was younger, it's the evolving, right? I'm so young. I wasn't a mother. I wasn't like, I went through 3 phases in my first marriage, from just
right.
being boyfriend, girlfriend, to being wife, to being mother.
Or
That's a
student
lot.
to professional.
Right. That's a lot
Yeah.
of transition. And then, you know, although I felt as though I was being my true self, I don't remember him having any, I don't like this, and then I didn't do it. Or I don't like that, and then I didn't do it. Right. There were just the growing pains.
It's a subtle hint.
Right. It's
Yeah.
but
Subtle
but you know
guiding,
what?
but
I will give it to baby daddy. We were just young. But the second marriage, absolutely, right? It was this, you loved me for my independence and my free spirit and my mind, as he
And hated
always,
you for
he's
it at
just
the
like
same
my
time.
mind the
And
most.
hated you for it at
But
the
then
same
hated
time.
me for it at the same time, right? Because there's this aspect of not outshining, always.
So were
having
you
to
more
reiterate.
susceptible to changing in your second marriage because of the issues that happened in the first marriage?
Yes.
Okay. And did you feel like if you had changed in your first marriage, things wouldn't have happened the way that they did?
Not in that situation, just
Okay.
because I
So
think
you're happy that you didn't change in your first
I'm
marriage?
happy that I didn't change in my first marriage. I think I learned a lot in my first marriage, and wish that I would have given it more time before my second marriage. And
Are
it was
you
time
now-
of knowing me.
Now that your age that you are currently at, are you more of who you were before you got married the first time? You are. Yep. Okay.
Absolutely. And to Dee's point, I don't feel as though I can't be me. Now there's consideration. I know the things that he does. He doesn't like red nail polish either, but I know if I want to go and get it, I'm gonna get it. And there's not going to be
cherry
the
red.
end of this relationship or
Crimson.
this. He's not going to feel disrespected. Ruby. As long as I still spin and twist the same, he's not going to be disrespected by it. So
God, I wasn't ready. Thought we was talking about colors.
But to me-
Thought we was talking about
Fill
colors.
that in real nice.
But to me, that's the respect.
Right.
That's the trust that,
Right.
okay, I don't like it, but I know if you're going to go out there and do whatever you're going to do,
You're not gonna be spinning and twisting on somebody else.
On somebody
Right,
else.
like,
exactly.
it's
Dip
actually
it low
not
when you
The
come home.
visualization
Like,
of it
yeah.
is a
Stop
little
being
disturbing for
self-centered.
me.
Stop being insecure. Like
Right.
my wanting to join a gym don't have nothing to do with you. too.
Right.
But
Or it could, because I'm
Until
going to
you
be a little
start
bit more
pissing
fit.
me off. I
I'm
was
going to have a little bit more
gonna say,
I'm
endurance.
not going to go to
Yeah.
his work events making the same jokes I do with my girlfriends.
Well, that
right?
goes back to
Right.
how
So
you
that is
started this.
respect.
So that's
That
a
is
little different.
respect.
And that's how you started this, right?
Yes, that is
when you
respect.
enter career into this. And we did talk about Kiki's career, and we didn't talk much about his, but like how career.
Does he have one?
I don't think so, based off of my research, but.
I wanted to say something real quick about the O thing, owing somebody. I say that a lot in disagreements
What is
with
it
my
that you
wife.
say?
I don't owe you that.
Okay. Do you do it with your
I just
forehead?
realized it.
Do you do it with
I
your
do a lot of different things with my face.
Okay.
That I don't realize. Like I look at I look at myself in pictures sometimes, and one eyebrow is up, like, and I think, I'm like, oh my gosh, something's not
That's
right
a beautiful
with my
face, though,
right?
Janai. I've
Thanks.
always loved
Oh,
it.
thank you.
I love that bone structure, baby.
Thank you.
Yes.
But that's something that I'm going to take back with me because that is a word that I use quite often.
Okay.
And I need to sit with that and think about it a little bit more because I do say it often. Like, I don't owe you.
Jeez.
I don't owe you that. Like in a conversation, in a debate or a disagreement. And there are times when I actually think I don't owe you that. Like I feel like I answered the question and I don't owe you the depth to which you're trying to go
Right.
in this conversation.
But they probably
It's like
feel
I said what I said. I know, but do you? Right? That's
Right.
the question.
And the
That's
thing
the
is that
question.
some
That's
people
the
think that you
question.
owe them, but they think they owe you nothing, right? And so,
Case in point.
well,
Right?
yeah, and I don't know the
Like, I don't
details
owe
of that particular conversation, but maybe she thinks you owe her something, and are there times when you think you owe her, she owes you something? Like, I don't know. This goes back to what I always talk about. We need to have these goddamn conversations, right? Because what does that look like? I would love for all of us, not just Janai, to go back to our folks, not just the people that we're sexually intimate in relationships with, because we are intimate with more people, like our friendships. What does it look like in terms of owe? What do you owe somebody in a intimate sexual relationship? What do you owe somebody in just a sexual relationship? What do you owe somebody in a friendship? What do you owe your children? What do you owe your parents, especially
your
as
parents.
we're
I
coming
tell
into this
little Bama
sandwich?
all the time. I don't owe you foam runners. I don't owe you the Telfar bag. I don't owe you
Nikki,
Balenciagas.
the
Like, stop
conversation
asking.
was
I'm
general.
triggered. I'm
Okay,
triggered.
the conversation.
Like, I don't owe
Please
you.
touch
Shout
your
out
D.
Baby J, who just had a birthday.
Come on,
Another
Baby
Leo.
J,
Come on,
with our
Baby
July
J.
babies.
Because she
I love you,
asked,
boo.
side note on the podcast, she asked, did you talk about me this time? She does ask.
Well,
Shout out to that dress.
Baby J, we talk about you all the time, but it's
Baby
because
J.
you're part of our village.
Yes, community.
So going back to the idea of what do you owe people? And I know that you've heard a lot in this particular conversation, right? Like what do we think that we owe people? What do we think that celebrities owe? What do we think that women owe? What do we think that men owe? What do we think whomever owes? Going back to the idea of what do you owe first yourself, then what do you owe to your intimate partner, to your sexual partner? Maybe they're both, maybe they're different, right? To your friendships, to your children, to your family. And I think it's important to have that conversation because they may think you owe something and you may think that you don't, or what you guys think that you owe is different. And that becomes a part of misunderstanding, which has an implication for the future, right? So consider that question. So we're gonna quickly move right into our tip of the day. Dr. Malone said it has something to do with water and moisture.
I have two tips of the day.
Right?
I have two. Hold on.
It is waterproof.
Hold on.
Oh, yes, we do have our water. We've been drinking.
No. Wait.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Let me do my
Sorry,
tip of the
bye,
day.
guys.
The first tip of the day is do not let someone else's limitations become yours.
Right.
So when you're thinking about those questions about what you
Yes.
owe people,
Say it
do not
again.
let their limitations become your own.
That's right.
They're their limitations.
before you wreck
They're not
yourself.
yours. Or colloquially, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Absolutely.
The second one,
Yes. Yes, we have water.
My floor, baby.
Water.
Hydrate in friendships is very
Hydrate.
important.
I know, double fisted. Look.
Yes.
I meant,
If you're going to drink and you're going to have a good time, you're going to hydrate.
cheers to that.
And hydrating
Cheers to that.
actually helps you squirt during.
Oh, God.
That's my tip
will
of the
help you do
day.
that
Okay.
too.
Oh, my
But you have to be hydrated to be able to squirt. It's not gonna work.
There has
It's
to
not
be
gonna
an
work.
accumulation of moisture to be released. from that
Exactly.
special
There
place.
has to be.
Did you learn that in your studies?
From your cheek? I did. Yes.
That was part of her dissertation.
That was my
How
dissertation
far
topic.
can
Shout
I
out to
squirt?
Love Day.
Tips of the day.
Thank you for joining us for this August episode of Grown as Women, seeing us in our pretty white, having conversations around what do we owe people, what do we not owe people, what do we owe ourselves. Thank you always. Make sure you follow us on social media, follow us on YouTube. We need more subscribers. What are you doing? Don't just watch us and not subscribe to the
Onyx
joint. You know what I'm
Therapy
saying?
Come to the
Onyx
docs.
Therapy
Gotta go to
Group.
Onyx Therapy
Grown
Group to
as
get
women.
to us.
And get this, we about to be out in these streets. You're gonna see us at a couple of events, looking good, doing the thing. So come hang out with us, have real conversations with us. And remember to ask yourself the same questions that we ask ourselves in these groups, and ask those same questions to your friends too. If your friends can't answer, find new friends.
I knew Frank.
Grown ass women. All right, we out.
Cheers.
Hey!